Friends, what is up? Greg Newmaster coming at you again with another action figure review. Today I have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mirage comic version 2008 Michelangelo and Donatello knockoffs. These are knockoffs, my friends. Yeah, so I was, just looking at things that are coming out lately, and the Shredder, they just released the Mirage comic version Shredder, and that got me thinking, like, man, I love the way that these original turtles looked. The design is based on the very first comic book ever made by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1, black and white. And then, there's a colored version where they all just have red masks. So I was like, I want to see if it's possible for me to get these figures. So I started scouring eBay, and they're on there for like $1,000 to get the set of them. $1,000 for these. That's how in demand these are. And then I started looking further, and I noticed that there were knockoffs from China for $13, and plus shipping, of course, which is like $10 more. So they were about $23, including the shipping. And I was like, you can't pass that up. So I was like, might as well give it a try, just to see what they're like, because I'm certainly not going to pay $1,000 for a set of Mirage comic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I just don't have that kind of money, and I just can't justify that in my mind. So I got these knockoffs, and I gotta say that these are phenomenal. Like, if you missed out on the Neca 2008 versions of these turtles, I highly recommend going on eBay and getting these knockoffs. Now, granted, I have purchased a few knockoffs, with Mafex and Bandai knockoffs, and just for the fun of it, and some of them are terrible quality, but some of them are excellent, and I have to say that these are excellent. So I got Donatello and Michelangelo, and all the figures are sold separately, but I just got them from different sellers, and then I have Leonardo and Raphael on their way. But I got these today, and I wanted to show them to you guys. So, I mean, from every video I've watched, from every picture I've seen, they look exactly like the real deal. They didn't come, these two specifically didn't come in any packaging, but Leonardo and Raphael, the ones that have not arrived yet, are coming in packaging. But they only come with their weapons. Their perspective weapons, not the additional. The original figures had like a diorama set, like with a street light and a sewer cover and a fire hydrant and things like that, and then they had extra weapons. So these just have their original weapons and just the figure. But, I mean, they look amazing. You can't tell them apart, though, of course, because they all have the red masks. So I actually had to look, because if I lose them without their weapons, I have to look at the comic book cover to see what their facial expressions look like, because that's how you can only tell them apart. I may even paint I may paint their masks the colors, but I'll just keep them the same. I don't know. There are colored versions on eBay, but like, they just look great. I mean, the sculpt is wonderful, and from the Neca to the knockoff, I mean, like, this is painted exceptionally well. To me, it looks like the real deal. There's no like, the joints aren't falling apart, the head's not popping off, like, the articulation is great, like, the head can go all the way up and down. We got a ball joint, we got the shoulder joints, because some of the figures that, that are knockoffs that I got in the past, like, they're normally damaged, and they just, like, fall apart as soon as you get them, but these are built really well, really well. And I mean, there's just tons of articulation, and then you get the chain and the nunchucks from Michelangelo, which I love. The paint looks great, like this light brown on the belt. The only thing I don't like about these comic versions is there's not really anywhere to put their weapons. Like, for example, I could put Michelangelo's in his belt there, but there's nowhere for Donatello. I'm curious to see what the Leonardo and the Raphael version is going to look like. Great articulation, though. Oh my, look at that. So I had watched a documentary on the Turtles, and they said when they put them on the cartoon show, they took away their little tails because they look like little penises, and they just didn't want to have that for the little kids, of course, because you know little boys are in penis jokes. But yeah, so even the original design of the Turtles, they had their tiny little tails. And I mean, for those of you who don't know, Laird and Eastman, they wanted to draw Daredevil comics, and I believe they were rejected. At least one of them was. And so as a joke, they, you know, one of them designed a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, and then the other one drew another one, and that's sort of how it all began. But even the Turtles' origin, look at the shell, look at the coloring on that, just great. Even the bottom of the feet there. The knees are double jointed, but the origin is even references Daredevil, like one of the canisters of ooze falls off. I think in the original comic, Splinter references it, and he sees a boy get splashed with the ooze or the toxic waste, and then the waste or the canister falls in the sewer on the Turtles and Splinter, and it creates all of them. In the cartoon, Splinter was originally a man. He was Hamato Yoshi, and then he gets transformed into the rat. In the movie, the rat just becomes Splinter, and his master was Hamato Yoshi. And then in the cartoon, it is Splinter is Hamato Yoshi, and the Shredder is Oroku Saki, and they're bitter enemies. But I liked the fact that he was a human, and he got transformed into the rat, and he was Japanese, and he was a ninja, and that's how he was able to teach the Turtles. I hated in the new movies how they learned ninjutsu from a magazine. I thought that was the stupidest thing ever. So, whatever. We're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles here. Here's like a little product flaw there. It's just like some warping in this joint there, but I mean, these are really solid, like really solid. There's ankle articulation. There's limited pivot, which I don't like. I wish there was just a little bit more, but I mean, these things even have the double jointed knees. So you can, and this plastic here on their chest, the bottom of their shell is a real soft plastic. So look, you can pull that down, and you can kind of see their turtle chest. And there's actually waist articulation inside of the shell. So you get a little bit of movement, because the problem with the Turtles action figures is they're always hindered by their shells. So it's really fascinating how toy engineers engineer certain twists. I mean, look at how far down he can put his head. And I think this must be on a peg, because I don't think it's a ball joint. I don't want to pull it off and break it because I'm not sure, but excellent head articulation. No double joints in the elbows. They could have done that with these elbow pads. We got bicep cut and swivel. There's even wrist articulation. So it's really great articulation for these figures, which is another selling point, and the cheap price. Like I said, I'm not spending $1,000 aftermarket for these Ninja Turtles figures, but for $13, heck yeah. Here's Donatello. Like, look, they even have, their bandanas are pretty similar. They're shaped a little bit different. There's a difference between Michelangelo's and Donatello's. Let's see. And there's no strap. Like, they didn't paint the strap on the back of the knee pad. So that's a little nitpick, but I mean, for knockoffs, these are exquisite, like absolutely wonderful. Here's like the only Donatello's bow, looks cheaply painted. That's about it. I mean, I could add some black lines onto that and it looks fine, but I mean, great figures for $13. So, like I said, if you guys are going to get the new Neca Shredder, which just came out, you can get, if you missed out on the turtles and you don't want to pay $1,000, hundreds of dollars, you can get these on eBay for between $13 and $20. Here they are compared to the NECA movie turtles. We got Mikey, and these figures are just phenomenal, and Donnie. And the NECA figures are obviously, or the movie figures are way bigger than the comic book versions. But I liked too that the comic versions are small. I find that more appealing because like in the new movies they made them hulking giants, and I like the idea that they're small, teenage. They look teenage, like they're built like teenagers, but they're built strong and they can kick some serious butt. I like the idea of like a small scrapper like Wolverine. And like how the turtles are supposed to be small instead of huge hulking alien mutants. So that's just my personal opinion. But if you like the video, please like and subscribe, and God bless you all.